Hey guys, happy Wellness Wednesday. I wanted to share with you guys a quick and easy way to make a faux pasta with spaghetti squash. This is something that I like to do because if you're not wanting a heavy pasta but you still want that Italian dinner, I love to do the spaghetti squash and make it into like a faux noodle. It tastes delicious, it's really low in carbs, it's healthy, and you're getting some vegetables. So I wanted to share with you guys how I do it. It's really easy. There are a few different ways that you can cut up the spaghetti squash. So the way I do it is I chop off the sides on each side and then I go straight down the center. And I'll show you that because that's the way I'm going to do it. But if you're afraid of, doing it that way, because it's sometimes really hard. If you don't have a really sharp knife, it can actually slip and it's kind of hard to wiggle this thing around and juggle it. So there are other ways that you can prep spaghetti squash. Now the other way that you can do it is you're gonna preheat your oven to 400 and you're gonna take a fork and just poke all inside of the spaghetti squash. So you're just gonna prick it, and then you're gonna go ahead and on a baking dish, I just lined it with aluminum foil, and then you're going to put the spaghetti squash on there, bake it whole for probably about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, depends on your oven. And that will soften up the squash. So you're gonna take it out of the oven, let it cool, then you can slice it and then rake it out to get your noodles. So that is one way. The other way, you could use a crock pot. You could put this in the bottom of the crock pot with about a half a cup to 3/4 cup of water, and you're gonna just set it on low, and you're gonna put it in the crock pot for 4 to 5 or 5 to 6 hours. And that again will soften up your spaghetti squash, and then you can go ahead and cut it and rake it out to get your noodle. So those are some options as far as doing spaghetti squash. I just like the simple, just cut it in halfway, and then I have my oven preheated to 400, and then you're going to, like I said, get a baking dish, cover it with aluminum foil. I like using aluminum foil, it's just easy cleanup. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the spaghetti squash. So I'm going to cut off the ends. So I did one end here, just cut it off, and then the other end. And I know sometimes I like to so you just cut the top off like that. You're just going to have the little end of it, like the little end of the spaghetti squash. So you're just going to chop both sides in half, and then you're going to set it upright. So whichever side is not as wobbly from the cut, because depending on how you cut it, it can be kind of wobbly. So you're just going to stand it up, and then you're going to cut it straight down the center. So I went ahead and took out the seeds of both of the spaghetti squash. So it should just look like that. And I like to season these. You can use coconut oil, you can use olive oil to season, whatever you would like. I like to just use the coconut oil spray, and I just spritz the top like that. And then I like to season it with the Flavor God Garlic Lover seasoning. And since I'm doing an Italian dinner, I'm going to add some Italian spices to it. Italian seasoning. And this is just going to flavor up the spaghetti squash just a little bit. And as it's baking, you can add if you add coconut oil, it's going to stay pretty moist on the spaghetti squash, but I'll just add, after I put my seasonings on, I'm going to add a little bit more of the coconut oil spray just to kind of lock that in, and then I'm going to bake it at 400 for about an hour. I'm going to check it, and these ones are kind of small, so I'll check it in like an hour, maybe 45 minutes, and then we can rake them out, and then we'll get our noodles. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lightly spray them again, and then I'm gonna put them in the oven for 45 minutes to an hour. We shall see. So the spaghetti squash is out of the oven. I baked this one for about 45 minutes just because these ones are a little bit smaller. Usually I buy the bigger spaghetti squash, so I usually have to do it for an hour. If you do buy the smaller ones, about 45 minutes is a good time. I started checking these and I was like, ooh, they're starting to get burnt. So I did these for about 45-50 minutes, and that was it. I took them out. Make sure you let them cool. I have been impatient before trying to prep dinner and just pick this thing up and just burn the crap out of your hand. So just let them cool, and then you can go ahead and scrape them out for your spaghetti. But I let these cool, so they are fine. I can pick them up and not kill myself on camera. So what I'm going to do, you just need a fork. Doesn't matter what size, small, big, and a bowl. And then what you're gonna do is just start to pull. And it's so simple, you don't even need to use a lot of pressure. You're just gonna gently do this. And I don't know if you guys can see it, I will show you as I go. And then I just turn it over the other side, and all you're gonna do is kind of like rake it. Basically, if you were going to, you know, rake your yard, same thing. So it's just gonna make these little like stringy pieces. Can you guys see those? It's kind of like a faux noodle. They taste delicious. If you want to add a little bit more seasoning once it's in here. And then I'm going to top it with just some Italian seasoned extra lean turkey. I just go ahead and put the turkey on the stove top, and then I just season it with some Italian seasonings, a little bit of garlic, and then I'll add that to my spaghetti squash. And then for a sauce, you can add, if you want to use a marinara sauce, I like to use the Classico if I don't make my own sauce. And the Classico I like to use because it has a little bit less sugar in the spaghetti sauce. So if you want to use like that for marinara sauce, Costco has a fantastic one. It's organic. I know theirs is low in sugar. I've purchased that one before. Or if you make your own, it's great to have your own homemade marinara. Or if you want to do an Alfredo. A couple weeks ago, I did the spaghetti squash. I added some grilled chicken, and then I added the low-fat Laughing Cow Swiss cheese, and then a little bit of grilled vegetables, and I threw that together. So this is the spaghetti squash. It's so simple, and it's a nice alternative to pasta. If you don't want like a heavy dinner, it's just a light, you know, it's a light meal. So make it creative, do whatever you want. If you want to add vegetables to it, different spices and seasonings. I have also before, once you rake out the spaghetti squash, I saved the little spaghetti squash boat. And what I did was I mixed up my vegetables, I mixed up my chicken, I did all the sauce, and then I took a little bit of it and transferred it back in here and served it out of the spaghetti squash. So that's another idea, especially if you're entertaining. It's kind of cute if you don't like burn the edges. I normally don't burn them, but I was actually gonna bake these for an hour, and then I realized these are really small compared to the ones I normally buy. So they look nice if you just leave them like that to entertain and just to, you know, fill them up, make them look kind of fancy. Sprinkle a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top, or if you're not going to use some cheese, you can always use a good substitute for Parmesan cheese is nutritional yeast. It tastes like Parmesan, but it's not a cheese, so you can sprinkle that on top if you want to, or if you're a vegetarian or vegan, just add vegetables on top and omit obviously the meat and the cheese. So that is something that I like to do just to kind of switch up dinner sometimes and not use pasta or like a whole wheat pasta or brown rice pasta. Just use spaghetti squash. So I always have this on hand. I usually, like I said, buy the larger ones because I like to shred it down, and then I'll put them in freezer safe containers and just pull them out when I need to use them for, you know, that week's dinner. So it's something that I like to prep ahead of time and have on hand because pasta is so easy to throw together, especially since summer's coming and it's so hot. And if you don't want to turn on the oven at night, you know, for dinner time, it's nice to just have those things ready and you can just use them right away. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!